Thank you, Chairman, and thank you for moderators as well as thank you for the audience. And just a correction about what is on the last presentation about the shockwave lithotripsy before we go into my presentation is that shockwave lithotripsy, unless it finds somebody who's already had the experience himself, if he is a urologist working on that, they mention about the damage that can happen, in relation to the vasoconstriction. Shockwave lithotripsy in itself, it is three types. One is electrohydraulic, which you can find it into the different companies, and then electromagnetic, which you find in the stores, and piezoelectric, which you find it in the Richard Wolf. These machines themselves, they offer a shock wave that it needs. Most important thing is what we call it focal targeting, to hit the stone, to prevent the stone from moving aside, and then you hit the flesh of the kidney, of which all these damages happen: vasoconstriction, bleeding, all these kind of things. So it is a very good modality, but the people, they have to understand there is 3,000 shocks need to be applied for the stones. Most of the stones in the lower pole, if you focus on it and if the shock wave is started to beat the stone can move up, but it fell down to gravity into the lower pole, and the shock wave will continue for 3,000. But if you apply the same kind of principle to a stone which is on the upper pole, the minute you hit the stone, within about 700 shocks, the stone will fall, and you will continue for 3,000 hitting the flesh. So it is of my experience, because I have experience with the shockwave lithotripsy. Every 1,000 shockwave, you have to stop and to do imaging to see if the stone in place or the stone has gone somewhere else. This is exactly to avoid these damages which can happen. So I hope if I manage to explain it properly. Thank you. My name is Mr. Mohamed Elhowairis. I'm NHS urology consultant in London. I'm a co-founder with Noor Bukuls, the ESD. Right. If we say about Noor Bukuls, if you give me 2 to 3 minutes, cannot pass it before we say that. Noor Bukuls is not a colleague. He is a brother along which we walk a long distance since 2011. In a quiet conversation over coffee in Midi Clinic City Hospital 2011, when I was the head of the department in urology in Dubai, Noor Bukuls attended there. We had a chat in one of the corners about ESD. That is the time when the seed of ESD was planted, of which we can see the whole of this legacy about. Thank you very much for taking the hurdle to be with us since 2012 up to now, and we are still going ahead. Notebook, somebody who is staying with us, and he will be staying with us throughout our empowering to keep the ESD going on. Today, I'm going just only to summarize what we call it, the up-to-date research and the guidelines of all the guidelines we know from 2024, 2025, just to make everybody be aware of what research is about in relation to specific dietary measures for stone formers. These ones, they are not tips, they are tools which we can use to reduce the recurrence, to reduce the formation of the stones, as well as to improve the quality of our patients' life. So why this topic is important if we think about it? This topic is important because in all the guidelines they highlighted that the lifestyle and diet as the first line of defense. We all agree about that. But how we are going to apply it to ourselves? We know that there is kidney stone disease all around, millions and millions of people affected. Whenever you got shot with one single stone within 5 years, you will have the recurrence if you are not careful. So in that case, what these guidelines mentioned here, AUA as well as the EAU, they recommended, they said it clearly in the guidelines and everybody can see it, is that lifestyle and diet as the first line of defense. This is what we can see. And so why the slides are not changed? Oh, sorry. Oh, this is no buccal side for everybody to see. We were in Sudan at that time. We went on for quite a long distance. We worked together for quite a long time, Mediclinic City Hospital. And so we had enough time. This is what I mentioned about this is what I mentioned about the kidney stone disease and the prevalence of the kidney stone disease, and what we mentioned that for us we have to take the chance to remember the lifestyle, and that is very important. Right, so different types of stones, if we can see calcium stones, uric acid and cystine, but we have to think about one single thing, which is one size does not fit all. What does it mean? That before we think about treatment, different stones that they need have a different causes and they have to tailor for them a different treatment. So in that case, like somebody who has a uric stones, you see the same like somebody who has got oxalate stone? No, uric stone, that he needs to have an alkaline diet. As well as a calcium oxalate stone for this patient, he needs to avoid, high. So we have to titrate it accordingly. So what does it mean? So in that, before I tailor any type of treatment, I have to know or to start my treatment by analyzing the stone itself. Right, so now we have to talk about the first line defense, which is hydration. So if we think about the hydration, 2.5 liters, but aim for about 3 liters, the more you flush the system, the more you flush the salt and prevent precipitation of this. So we have to flush the plumbing system to make sure all the salts happen. So as well, we found as well citrus water, which is emerging now, the people they added it added extra bonus to offer you the defense mechanism. Right, so about the calcium, so we have to correct the mess about the calcium restriction. If we see that diuretic calcium is protective, why diuretic calcium is protective? How? Because if you take calcium, if you take oxalate, for example, extra oxalate, if you take calcium with it, the oxalate with the calcium in the guts, the calcium will not let the oxalate to escape away. It will take it further and manage to take it outside of your system. Different, please remember that, different from taking supplement between meals. If you take supplement of calcium, it will go into your system and it will fire back. So best way to take calcium, to take it when you are taking, say for example, extra oxalate. Right, so this can tell you more about oxalate. Choose wisely and then combine the oxalate with the calcium. This is exactly what we mentioned a minute ago, because oxalate is found in a healthy food. Healthy food, like, when you eat in it in excess, or you're eating the oxalate alone, and we know that the type of the oxalate diet. So in that case, you have better off immediately combine it with calcium, because the calcium will make sure that flush it away. Second thing, sodium. Sodium is a hidden risk. Why sodium is a hidden risk? Because sodium pulls the calcium into the urine and help to form stones. So be careful with the calcium. So most salts, they came from food. We are not aware. We go for shopping and we buy without looking into the labels to know how much sodium is there in the food that we buy. So it is most important, watch processed food and not just to buy it. Now we're coming to protein. Protein here, we have quantity and quality. It does matter, but it doesn't mean that too much animal proteins, it will flood your system with acid. So when the system is flooded for acid, that will encourage stone formation, especially uric acid. So do not give up meat. Say, I'm not going to eat meat. But you have just at least either to be moderate or replace it with the vegetable proteins. Right, now we come to fruits, vegetables. They are the secret weapons. In what sense? Why they are secret weapons? Right, because they contain minerals. If you think about potassium, banana, that decreases the calcium, magnesium decreases calcium oxalates. So every one of these, so we have better off to get ourselves encouraged to eat vegetables and fruits that contain all these minerals we're talking about, as well as the secret behind that is the citrate. The citrate, it increases the natural defense of your body. So you will have it here with the vegetables. Now, sugar. Sugar, especially the fructose, it is really strong risk. When we think about fructose, sugars, and everything, we have to think about to avoid a sweetened drink and excess of sugar. Not because watching for your body weight or it's going to affect it, but you have to change our belief that sugar will change the chemistry of your urine, and that it fructose, it builds up the uric acid, and colors as well. It flushes acid into your system. And then we have to simply to switch to a lemon water, which can give you lemon water of this, it contains some citrate that can help as a defense mechanism. Now, citrate is a natural inhibitor. If you have it much, then the calcium will be less. Keep the calcium on solution. Calcium will not be clumped. Calcium will not be dewy, and calcium, they will not be forming stones. And at the same time, you can take it naturally, where you can find it on orange, lemon, watermelon, or you can use supplement if you are not have it natural. Very important thing, diet by stone type. So that gives you a kind of a personalized map of what you have to apply to yourself or to your patient. So you have to deliver tailored kind of advice for a different stone type. So in that case, your best prevention plan should be planned knowing your stone chemistry, as we explained earlier. Calcium oxalate, low. This is, it can give you the solution. Uric acid give you the solution. So in that case, if you know the type of the stone chemistry, then you'll be able to get through it. Now, diet by stone type, then we move on gut healthy and probiotics. If we can see that new researches, they are telling about the microbiome. These microbiomes, if we think about them, these viruses, bacteria, all of them naturally in the body, they are helping, with the prevention of stone. What they found about this oxalobacteria, this is new research, it shows this bacteria can help to degrade the oxalate. Right, now we come into technology and tailored prevention types, is that we have to think about 24 hours urine collection. When we say 24 hours urine collection, and we have got so much of a modality that now can help us to target the stone type and how we are going to treat 24 hours urine collection. We have got some kind of applications that we can use for that. But we have to remember that no two patients are alike at all. Two patients are alike, never at all. So in that case, we have to think of what are we going to apply for these patients when we're thinking about, and this is what is exactly the future studies. Final takeaway. Kidney stones may be common, but they are always beatable, preventable. So in that case, we have to work it out smartly. If you think about drinking 2.5 and extra water, limit the salts, animal proteins, as well as sugar, and then boost more of a citrate. And this, before that, you have to know the type of the stones to map the treatment for the stones. And thank you very much, everybody, for giving me the time to listen.